Siddur Snippet series is generally sponsored by the Saka family and as well by Yelad and Avram Foreman. We are at the conclusion of the 15th bracha. The bracha is Tzemach Dovid Avdecha, and we are on the line Ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom. We mentioned the chidah, the word ki, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should save us. Bring Mashiach. Why? Because we want him, because we hope for him. And we asked, the chidah asked. That's the reason to bring him. If we're worthy, he should come anyway. If we're not worthy just because we want him, why would he come? Ki lishuascha, how does that help? The answer is, the chidah says, a very, very powerful, important yesod. Ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even if we're utterly and wholly unworthy, nevertheless, just because that's what we long for. Other people long for all kinds of other things. What we long for, what a Jew longs for, is Mashiach. And simply reward virtue of longing for Mashiach, Kadosh Baruch Hu, you should bring Mashiach. The Radal is a different girsa. Not Ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom, but kol yom. Not all of the day, but each day. The Grizz, Ravelva, the Brisker Rav, says kol hayom, it's constant. It's not kol yom. That our girsa does not say once a day, every day, but Ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom. The background music in a Jew's life. You might be in business, you might be at the supermarket, you might be playing tennis, you might be occupied with some other activity, but the background music that's playing always in our mind is Ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom. That all day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I just want Mashiach. I want Mashiach because I want to win this tennis game. I want Mashiach because I want Parnasa easily. I want Mashiach most of all because I want peace, security, serenity for the Jewish people in Israel and around the world. So the Velvel said, it's not, the Gira says not Ki lishuascha kivinu kol yom, each day, once a day. It's kol hayom. It's every day, all day. That's what we're thinking, that's what defines us. The Mishnah at the end of Masechah Sota paints a picture of what it's going to be like in the eschatological era, a portrait of the era preceding Mashiach's arrival. And the Mishnah there lists several phenomenon, several things that will be happening in the culture in the world, and see if any of them sound familiar to you. If any of them feel like that's what we're going through today. First of all, there'll be an abundance of chutzpah. Chutzpah, Yiska. There'll be an enormous amount of chutzpah. Young people will think because they could talk into their phone and have terabytes of information, they know as much, they know more than adults around them. Everyone will think that they're equal in their opinion, in their attitude, in their approach. There'll be an enormous amount of chutzpah. Expenses will disproportionately increase. All food costs, gas costs, everything's going to go up. Inflation. Authority and governance, the governance, all you're going to see is heresy, kfira. The people who are in charge, who are in control, are filled with fraud and filled with lies. Immorality will become common. Not something infrequent, uncommon. It'll become commonplace. Yiras ha'onesh, yiras ha'chet will elicit disgust. People won't respect those who live with a healthy boundary, but rather they'll have an intolerance for those who have moral boundaries. And the Mishnah says the world, we spoke about this, the world will be devoid of truth. There'll be no emes. There'll be no truth. Emes, truth, will be a very lonely word. Honesty will be a lonely word. So all of these are a description of what it will be like before Mashiach. And frankly, it's all incredibly familiar. I'm sure we're not the first generation to feel it's familiar. I'm not saying we want. By the time we're done with this Dvar Torah, we want Mashiach to be here. But it's a difficult time in Jewish history for Klal Yisrael. We look around the world, we see our situation, our condition, our standing. We see the world is increasingly a godless world. We see there are no boundaries. We see chutzpah, we see sheker. We see it all going. And the principle, what we are driven by is Ki lishuascha kivinu kol hayom. And we conclude the bracha, Baruch atah Hashem, matzmiach, keren Yeshua. Kadosh Baruch Hu, you are matzmiach, you make blossom the horn. We already mentioned why are we invoking a horn of Yeshua, your salvation. It's interesting, that word, matzmiach, is what tense in grammar? Correct, it's lashon hova, it's present tense, matzmiach. It's not God, you used to, in the past you made salvation sprout, nor is it God, I'm confident in the future you'll bring salvation, you'll make it sprout. It's lashon hova. Kadosh Baruch Hu, even now, even in this difficult period and difficult time, even if we look around the world, and we're going through challenging circumstance, matzmiach b'lashon hova, in the present tense, what we can see and what we can't see, what we can measure and what's happening, but we can't see, it's all coming from you. On the one hand, Chazal tell us Mashiach comes, Yeshua is going to come. Yeshua's Hashem ke herifayin. Yeshua's Hashem is like the blink of an eye. It's going to be like that. It's going to be instantaneous. And yet, matzmiach, it's going to blossom, slow, gradual, incremental. So which is it? Is Yeshua's Hashem ke herifayin? Does it happen in the blink of an eye? Or is it Matzmiach Karen Yeshua? It's going to be a tzmicha, it's going to be a blossoming, it's going to be something gradual, it's going to take time. And the answer is, which is it? Yes. How is it yes? Because what feels or looks like the blink of an eye was years and years and decades and centuries and millennia of a process. Who knows, the tears of our ancestors, Hazorim, Bedima, Berina, Yiktsoru, our tears are watering those seeds that are the blossoming of Mashiach. So Mashiach comes, you're going to turn on, Halavai, it'll be today. We're going to turn on the news and it's going to be Sinwar is dead and Hamas, they surrendered, and Hezbollah said, we also surrender, and everybody put down their arms, and they said, Israel's here to stay, Mashiach's going to, Halavai. It's going to feel like that happened, Karavayit. That happened out of nowhere. It happened when we were most hopeless and helpless. But really it's a tzmicha, because everything that went in, all the schuyos, everything we have to earn, all of the yisurin, all of the great sacrifice that our people paid, all the hazorim bedima, all the tears that we cried that planted those seeds, it can be both keherafayin, it feels to us instantaneous, but also it's gradual and it's over time, it's a tzmicha. Both are true at the same time. So we conclude the bracha, matzmiach keren Yeshua, and the Lashon Hova, because Baruch Hu is making it happen in the present tense. So we look around at a world and we say, where are you, Hashem? How and why? The Houthis, really, in the middle of the night, all of Israel, ballistic missile, like it's enough already. How many nations? 7 nations? Israel's at war with 7 countries simultaneously. We don't even have sympathy of a ratio of 1-to-1 country for country that's at war with us. Not even have ratio of 1-to-1 sympathy for countries at war. So you say, how could it be hopeless and helpless? Matzmiach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even while it's feeling hopeless, He's watering the seeds. He's bringing incremental, slow, gradual, and when it comes, and Mirz Hashem, Halavai, it should be soon, it'll feel like it's Keherafai.